No, listen, the late Morgan Trangirai marched, Nelson Chamisa marched, okay, and there was no coup whatsoever. The people, the war veterans, had started working on it long before. I was part of the team. I was independent, talking to political parties so that we could have a national consensus. That national consensus was about the people. The army is the army of the people. They marched with the people. They joined. They did not start it. The soldiers were not the first on the streets. It was the people who were first on the streets. There
So
was no coup.
what
And
was
the court,
restore
and
what was
court,
restore legacy all about then, if the army wasn't part of this and if there wasn't a coup?
no, we went to court. Remember, there is a judgment which said it was not a coup. So that's why I'm also standing on that. The courts of this country did say it was not a coup, and there is a judgment on that. And it would be unfair for us to argue on a matter which went through the courts, and the court said there was no coup,
Okay,
and
so
no one appealed.
but you also mentioned that it was not a coup because the opposition even participated, and I clearly remember after the 2018 elections. I think some of the opposition leaders are on record saying Takaitiswa we were used.
That is true. I'm also a victim. Womunhu akaitiswawo handina basa. Ndafunga chapiwa basa a minister ndiri independent. I had hoped that the opposition to be incorporated in government. I've always said that. It was unfair because we all said a new Zimbabwe starting and we all wanted Mnangagwa in. Everybody knew Mnangagwa was coming in. Chamisa endorsed Mnangagwa. Tsangira endorsed Mnangagwa. The army did not endorse Mnangagwa. Politicians endorsed Mnangagwa. And they knew Mnangagwa was the right person. And we all went for Mnangagwa. That is the truth. Everybody who marched, okay? And those who want to go to heaven must say this. It was the truth. Feelings after is different. Takaenda tested chidati idia dzoke, ngwena dzoke. That's why when he came back, there was a rousing welcome. That's why we went to Highfield. That's why we were together and so forth. But in India Kashandao, the same way I'm working now, I don't expect anything but wakapiwa wacho hapana zvarakaita. Masoja vakabva vamhanya kunotambira president. Mawo veterans vakabviswa. Ipo pakatanga kunyepera president kuti yakashanda and so forth. And I hope the president also has time to reflect that some of the people around him were not there in the beginning. It was important that the president incorporated, embraced, and it was important the president exercised inclusivity at that time. That and also recognize the opposition leaders that participated, and it was going to be good to see them being part of the government. Are you with me? Because they did participate genuinely, and they believed in him, and they believed in the change. Are you with me? Unfortunately, I think other people hijacked the whole thing. The army started being in the forefront when he arrived at the airport and took over. If there's anything, the army actually ambushed the president at the airport. It's as if they took over and then they were in charge of a number of issues. They were now chairing joke. In the provinces, it was the police who used to chair. CIO was critical and so forth, you know, and all that. If you remember, behind the president, it was a police officer who would stand behind him. Remember, in the olden days, but it was the army now behind him. So I think that is what probably led to a lot of things, and I think being the president, being listening, he took some advice from them, but again, it left out a number of key people who really participated, who sacrificed. I'm one of them. That's why I talk about it. That's why I was there. I assisted in the formation. I was tweeting. SBMO were giving me information. Kudat Aguirre funded it all and everything. So for you to now forget such people, Nelson Chamisa, Trangirai was there. He was not feeling well, but he gave his blessing, which was a great thing for the unity of this country. There was no better goodwill for Zimbabwe than that. But people who were not politicians then went and made their contributions, and they were not in the scene. Today, that the very same people are giving him problems, and we're also now fighting them again.